Nowadays, 360mm water coolers are very popular because we have bigger cases and cases which are more thought to have a 360 on top, which is the best place to put your all-in-one cooler. However, up until not too long ago, 240 was the most popular size, and it was plenty fine for any CPU on the market, unless you wanted to do some really crazy overclocking. And even there, unless you were deleting and putting liquid metal inside your CPU, the bottleneck would still be the IHS. Why am I saying all that? Because I think today, with CPUs actually getting a bit more efficient, again, with the Ryzen 9000 and the new Intel Core Ultra CPUs, there is again a space for premium 240mm water coolers, which is why today we're taking a look at the new Gamdias Chione P5 240 White. Now this thing comes in cheap, and it's of course the reason why here at ImWateringPSUs we are testing it out, because we don't like expensive stuff unless it's really crazy. So this thing costs around $100. Now it's gonna depend, of course, as usual, on where you live, but around $100 for an all-in-one water cooler, which promises to be very good, with included RGB fans, fully white, and an included programmable screen where you can put pretty much whatever you want, GIFs, and also different levels of graphics, but we'll cover that very soon. So I decided to put it to the test with the best value gaming CPU on the high end at the moment, which is the 1900 X3D, because I think the 9950 X3D is probably still too expensive for the little to no performance gain you get. So with that said, let's take a fast look at the build. Nothing special, okay? Went with a cheap B650, some Team Group RAM, actually very good RAM we used, Kingston KC3000 NVMe drive, Gen 4. These are basically the best value for money drives out there. We went in an iTech Dark Cave DS White, nothing special, just a cheap Chinese clone of aquarium-like cases. We actually tried out the new Thermaltake PSUs, which was surprisingly light and honestly didn't impress me very much. Thermaltake is not really expanding on quality, but they are cheap, I suppose. And we're then putting a 4080 straight up from the video when I was telling you guys not to buy overpriced 4080s, because this one we actually not overpaid for, so I guess it's fine. And this is the PC done, pretty much. But what we want to take a look at more is the mounting installation of the cooler. Now, it was pretty straightforward. Again, on AM5, just remove the plastic brackets, slide in the AM5 adapter to the cooler, and screw it down with the thermal paste. Takes 2 minutes, and the cool thing is you can detach the LCD screen, kind of like how the Arctic liquid freezer is installed, and you can then cable manage it later on once your motherboard is already inside the case. It is magnetic, and more important, it is symmetrical, so I can just switch it around because it's a square, and it's very convenient because I can have it straight off the get-go. Now, of course, if you want to put it reversed, you're still going to be able to rotate it in the app, but it's a good advantage. Now, with that said, let's take a look at the app first, because I think customization options are a selling point, because there are a lot of screens nowadays on all-in-ones on the market. We have Deepcool, iTech, Valkyrie. Generally, any brand out there is making screens for your all-in-one. But what makes the difference is the software. And this software is actually really good because, first of all, it's light. It's Zeus Cast software from Gamdias. Starts on Windows very fast and doesn't open if you don't want it to open. It also has a monitoring tool extra, but more importantly, it is organized on levels. So you can program your writing or your overlay pretty much, where you can catch all the sensors from your motherboard. So we can even have like GPU utilization. Of course, you have CPU temperature, GPU temperature, and you put that up to 3 different sliders. But here's the thing. Here's where they really did well and did cool stuff. You can not only put sensors in overlay, you can also put, for example, a clock or a calendar. You can put whatever you want. Not really whatever you want, but you have a lot of options about what you can put. And then on the background, you can use one of their pre-made GIFs or upload your own or use a static image. So they have a lot of cool ones. So I just went with this kind of space-themed one, which you're seeing in the footage. And I think it looks nice, and I don't like to spend a lot of time searching for GIFs on the internet to put on PCs. So having a few pre-made cool ones is a big bonus for me. The RGB is all daisy chainable and it's all controllable via the motherboard, so that's also very easy. So all in all, the software gets 10 out of 10 from me. Usually I'm not very happy with the software for things like those, but this time it's good. So now the temperature, let's take a look. Now we're running a 1900 X3D, non-undervolted this time because we want to get maximum power output with the XMP enabled and without many power limits at all, so just running fully unlocked at stock on a B650. I've run a variety of benchmarks. I've run Prime 95, let it run for half an hour, I've run full Firestrike to replicate the gaming test. I've done some gaming myself, and I've also tested the CPU-Z benchmark because lately it has become pretty heavy. And in all of these, gaming included, we never exceeded 75 degrees on the CPU, ever. With the side panel closed and with the silent curve on the actual fan in the BIOS. This is outstanding. It's very good. It means you don't need more than 240 for 1900X3D, and it's very good data in my opinion. However, it was pretty loud because the fans ramp up pretty aggressively. Now, I went in the BIOS, changed that out, and you can actually stay still under throttle point, so at around 80 degrees, while having your PC a lot more silent. Now, if it was my PC, I would probably run it a bit louder actually, because I like my CPU to stay cold. Or you could actually just undervolt it, as we show on the channel, and have it cold and silent at the same time, which is probably what I would actually do. Or I would delete it like I did in my personal system, but that was kind of a mess for AM5. I'm not sure I recommend it for the average user. But with that said, if you're able to choose between very cool but slightly loud, or still okay temperature-wise but very quiet, honestly, you're gonna be happy with this cooler. So that's my full recommendation, and it's unusual for me to do a full dedicated video for an all-in-one, but this time I was pretty happy with what Gamdias is bringing to the table, so I think it was worth it. But as usual, I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think a 240 is too little for today's CPUs? Should I try it on a Core Ultra 9 285K? Let me know down below, and hope to see you guys in another video. Let me know if you like the new format, and take care. Bye-bye.